Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Over 2 decades of sports radio dominance in Utah.
My favorite.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK brought to you in part by Trajan Wealth, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call 1-855-TRAJAN1 or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. DJ and PK joined now by Chris Vannini, senior writer for The Athletic. Chris, good morning.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Chris, would you like to talk about something other than Brendan Sorsby and Texas Tech? Has this just completely hijacked your life?
Let's talk about the World Cup. Some good games yesterday. I'm covering a game I'm covering Netherlands, Japan on Sunday here in Dallas. So let's do that. How about that?
Anything to mix it up. Let's go. U.S. to the quarterfinals or bust, right?
That would be great. They got to win. They got to win the game tonight. Like if they win, 'cause I feel like the buzz hasn't really started yet. And if the U.S. loses the first game, that may kind of suck up the energy.
Yeah.
But if they win this first game against Paraguay tonight, I think everyone will start to get into it as we get out of the NBA Finals and the NHL and really kind of. But they got to win tonight. It's a big one.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. And I think that part of the buzz is that people don't have tickets. They can't afford them because FIFA is price gouging, and that has wrecked everything running right up to the tournament. Just totally shot themselves in the foot.
Yes, and we saw the South Korea-Czechia game last night. Had a lot of empty seats. That was in Mexico. Not America, but we'll see.
Yeah. Chris Vannini joining us from The Athletic. All right, PK, let's get to it.
Yeah, I listened to the 21-minute video thing, and you know what I took from it is we are such benevolent people, and we're trying to help this young man, and that's all great. And nobody wants to dispute that. Help the young man. They actually painted him as if he was a 12-year-old boy, practically putting parental restrictions on his phone as if that's going to solve all the issues. If that was a big deal, then everybody would do it, and there would be no problems. Why don't they get to the point and just come out and say, he can help us win games and we want to win the Big 12 and we want to win playoff games? I think if they said that, it might be received a little bit better.
Well, that's kind of what Cody Campbell said 2 days ago. It's been interesting. It's kind of mixed messaging depending on who from Texas Tech is talking. You notice Cody Campbell was not in that video yesterday. The AD and the president and Joey McGuire are trying to say, like, look, we haven't said he's playing. We got to get through his recovery, this or that type of stuff. But you also have Cody Campbell saying to Dan Dockich, the court said we have to play him, so we owe it to him to play him, and this kind of stuff. And the Big 12 ADs are jealous because he makes us better. So yeah, a little bit of mixed messaging coming from there. I think I don't think anybody doubts that Texas Tech wants to make sure Brendan Sorsby is okay as a human,
right? That
they want to help him get through his rehab, get over this addiction, and do all of that types of things. No one is saying kick him to the curb.
Right.
So that's why when most of that 20-minute video is about that, it's like it's not what anybody's asking about. The only question most people have is, why have you not determined that he won't play in games? What is keeping you from doing that? And there has not been an explanation from them over that. Is there a legal reason? Is it Cody Campbell saying we have to play him? I don't know. We've asked them. They have not told us. So that is a lot of the Texas Tech talking points last night and today have been, we haven't said he's playing. It's like, okay, then why haven't you said he's not playing?
Because they're going to play him.
And there hasn't been an answer to that.
Yeah, and because you're going to probably be in Lubbock on that third Friday in September to watch him play against Houston?
Somebody will be. We've been discussing that amongst our staff. We'll cover that game. Yeah, and he's got Cincinnati on the schedule too. So, that's really all it is. Texas Tech could have said from the beginning, okay, this ruling happened. We haven't made any determinations. We're still figuring out. They haven't done that. But Brendan Sorsby is not going to spend this fall at Texas Tech if he's not playing. He will go to the NFL supplemental draft, and that has to happen soon. That's why you got a quick ruling on it. So, that's the continued messages of, how dare people question our integrity when you haven't ruled out playing a player who gambled on his own team. It's yeah, that's why that's happening. There remain unanswered questions, and they continue to make lots of public statements without answering that question.
Chris Vannini from The Athletic joining us. This is the biggest story of the moment. There are other big stories looming out there. One is the thought that the Big Ten, the SEC could expand again, could break away and do their own thing. And there are a lot of schools who want to join them and get across that line. Texas Tech, by winning, is trying to put itself in position for that, but they're alienating so many people now that they're actually going to make it harder to do that, given how much blowback they're taking from the rest of college sports right now.
Yes, because of any type of conference move that is made or super league that is made, the cliche that everybody says is we're partners in all of this. And I think back to when Florida State was suing the ACC to try to get out of the exit fee. Greg Sankey was asked about this once and basically described Florida State as not being a good partner. And if other teams feel like they can't trust you to be on the same page with what the rules are or being in it together, they may not want you in that group. So, yeah, my colleague Stuart Mandel wrote a column, I think, yesterday about this. Is this really all worth it for this? Is Brendan Sorsby worth it? A player who is good, but so far not amazing. And you also potentially have Will Hammond available, who's a pretty good quarterback. Is it worth debasing the reputation of everything from your university to your football program to defend this when we haven't even gotten to the season yet, and the potential that somebody could want to invite you to a conference? At least Cody Campbell seems to think it is. So that's where we're at.
That sound could mean a lot of things. And when something's going wrong at home, the hardest part can be figuring out what the problem actually is. At Thumbtack, you can upload a voice message or a photo, and our AI-powered search will help diagnose your project. Plus, the pros we know have over 14 million five-star reviews, so you can hire with confidence. Thumbtack, we know homes. Hire the right pro today.
Does the Big 12 and Yormark at least have to do something if it's just window dressing? They really, in my mind, they can't just be silent and say, we're done with it. There's nothing we can do.
Well, it's tough because it's not like Yormark doesn't have the power to do anything. It would have to come from the presidents. That's why whenever people say college football needs a commissioner, it's like, well, commissioners aren't all powerful. They can't do all these things. In the NFL, you report to the owners, and in college, you report to your presidents. And so, based on our reporting at The Athletic, a lot of the presidents want something to be done.
Right.
What is that? We don't know yet, and that's what's going to happen Monday when the presidents get together. All the options are going to be laid out. It seems unlikely a decision will be made just yet, but it may be more trying to get a feel of what they want to do, what's legally possible, whether that's saying games that Sorsby plays in don't count toward the Big 12 standings, whether it's a postseason ban or a big fine, or just a wide range of options are going to be discussed. And we'll have to see what they want to do. Tony Petitti suspended Jim Harbaugh during the Connor Stallions scandal.
Yeah.
Or at least the Big Ten did. Like Tony with like the top school, the presidents voted on it. But all the schools were mad at Michigan, and so something had to be done. And it appears that is the case here in the Big 12. What that's going to be, we don't know yet, but they're being very careful because you've already got the Attorney General and Jeffrey Kessler already threatening legal action against sanctions that haven't even happened yet.
All of this presumably is to get a quarterback on the field who is a difference maker. There are a lot of arguments about how big the gap is between these leagues. Obviously, Steve Sarkisian thinks he can win with his 2s and 3s. Arizona State had Texas in overtime. The Big 12 looked pretty good, even though they lost in the playoffs 2 years ago. Last year, Tech, who completely outclassed the top of the league, including Utah and BYU on 3 occasions, then got outclassed itself by Oregon. How big is that gap right now, do you think? And do we have enough data points, or we'll just jump to whatever game, but it's hard to know because there really isn't enough competition?
Well, I think it's really the top of the leagues, and we haven't seen, when the Big 12 was kind of remade, the promotion of the league was, this is the most competitive league, top to bottom. It's the toughest conference. Everybody's so close. And that can be fun week to week, but you need a couple of teams to stand apart at the top. You need teams to carry the flag. When the SEC was so great for so long, it was because they were winning national championships. Most of those coming from Georgia and Alabama, but that still allowed Kentucky to say we're the SEC. And so it's taken a couple years, but Texas Tech has emerged as one of those flag bearers. And in their first playoff game, it didn't go well. And, I was the one who asked Joey McGuire, what do you think of Steve Sarkisian's comments? And he had his whole response ready. And he said, look, people can make fun of us for not scoring in the playoff. That's fair. So that's ultimately where it's at, is ultimately who in the Big 12 will get into the playoff and win a game. If Arizona State had made that stop on 4th and 20 or whatever it was, we'd be having a lot of different conversations about a lot of different things, including the format of the playoffs. Unfortunately, I asked Kenny Dillingham about Sark's comments, and he said, we lost. If we'd won that game, maybe I'd have different comments.
Yeah. As far as, you talk about what Stewart wrote, and it is a question that is it worth it all? So whether just for sake of argument, he plays, but just for the sake, say he doesn't, and you've already mentioned Will Hammond, as you handicap the conference, do you have Texas Tech still winning in your mind with or without Sorsby?
Yes, in part because, to quote Steve Sarkisian, the schedule is quite easy. They don't play BYU and Utah.
Right. Exactly.
So the schedule is that Houston game, one of the toughest games of the season for them, probably. So we'll see how Will Hammond is, if it's Will Hammond who plays, who I still think is a good quarterback, and they like him. Yeah. He's just still recovering from the injury last year. Joey McGuire said he'd be ready sometime in August, but that doesn't mean he's fully game ready. He has been throwing. He's out there doing stuff, but he's not contact ready yet. So, yeah, Texas Tech would still be my favorite. I think top to bottom, the roster is still really good. Just a little bit TBD at quarterback, and the schedule helps. It's just the luck of the draw of what the schedule is this year compared to a year ago.
Right.
There's been talk about going to a 10-team schedule. That wouldn't fix everything, but it'd be one more conference game, so maybe the big dogs aren't missing each other. What do you think the odds of that are?
Yeah, I was the one who reported that because I was at spring meetings talking to Yormark, and I was asking them about, conference agreements. Could the Big 12 make a scheduling agreement with the ACC to try to do something? Because the Big 10 and the SEC have talked about that. And he said not really, but that he wants to do 10 conference games mostly because it's better for TV rings. And the TV deal comes up in a couple of years. They're going to start those conversations. And so he would like to have more conference football games and basketball games just to help them make more money when they go to the table with ESPN and Fox or whoever. And it was brought up to the coaches. coaches were mixed on it. Some of them were like, that's fine. Some of them were like, I don't really want to do it if nobody else is doing it. The concern with adding an extra conference game is that adds an extra loss to half your conference. That is why the SEC coaches are still mad about moving to 9 conference games. And so it's very, very early stages, and the 2014 playoff would have to happen before then. This is all contingent on the 2014 playoff happening. So it's early. Yormark wants to do it. Coaches are kind of mixed.
Well, Chris, we could probably go on with you all day long, and we probably shouldn't do that. We appreciate you giving us a few minutes, though. That was a bunch of topics to hit. Thanks for hopping on the air with us.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Chris Vannini, The Athletic, joining us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Your feedback next. Stay with us.
And it's all over almost here.
Don't go nowhere.
Thumbtack presents Uncertainty Strikes. I was surrounded. The aisle and the options were closing in. There were paint rollers, satin and matte finish, angle brushes, and natural bristles. There were too many choices. What if I never got my living room painted? What if I couldn't figure out what type of paint to use? What if I just used Thumbtack? I can hire a top-rated pro that knows everything about interior paint, easily compare prices, and read reviews. Thumbtack knows homes. Download the app today.
Summer is all about freedom, fun, and growing up. And between the ages of 9 and 13, kids are starting to form their views about alcohol. With more independence, their still developing brains need more guidance and support than ever. That's why summer is the perfect time to stay connected and plan fun, safe family activities together. Research shows kids who spend quality time with their parents doing what they enjoy are less likely to drink underage. And when kids feel close to you, they're more likely to listen, especially when you set clear expectations. In fact, kids who drink before 15 are far more likely to struggle with alcohol later. This summer, create a no-bummer summer with fun, alcohol-free activities for your kids. Go to summer.parentsempowered.org to take a quick quiz and discover ideas tailored to your family. A little time together can make a big difference. For more information and to learn more about how to prevent underage drinking, visit parentsempowered.org.